We know most everything about the Xbox Scorpio other than the name and the price. I've beat the issue like a dead pony, but I wanted to share this graphic with you first. Let it sink in. We've reached a point, even before an official unveiling, where gamers know what the Scorpio is capable of, to a fault, because naysayers are claiming the Scorpio will be over $600. But when faced with the undeniable perspective of market, parts costs, and comparisons to the PS4 Pro, suddenly a $500 or less Scorpio is doubtful that it can do all that is offered. 4K 60 game capture and streaming, Dolby Atmos, a 4K Blu-ray drive, and native 4K gaming, all for $500 or less. Phil Spencer even specifically clarified his misquoted premium product statement as premium, meaning hardcore gamers that know what 4K is and want the very best versions of third-party games. He continued that Scorpio won't be priced more than a typical console price. But still, the comment sections of my videos will be littered with premium $600 to $800 price claims. Literally everything we know about Scorpio is out there thanks to Digital Foundry, Windows Central, and Monolith Studios, the team behind Shadow of War. But we don't know how third-party games will run officially, and we don't know how first-party games will run outside of Forza 6. Digital Foundry says GPU utilization is remarkably low at just 60 to 70%. The team can push Forza tech to the equivalent of a PC ultra-level settings, and we're still sitting at 88% GPU utilization. Clearly, this is just one game. But the point is that the Scorpio doesn't just scale Xbox One engines to 4K. For the Forza engine at least, there is overhead and plenty of it. But developers aren't talking about Scorpio versions of the biggest games. If a game is announced to have Scorpio support, it means games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Middle-earth Shadow of War, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 will run at native 4K. I already know Battlefront 2 will run and look better on Scorpio than the vast majority of PCs on Steam. Native 4K, 60 FPS, says Jess Corden of Windows Central. Xbox Scorpio has substantial spec upgrades over the Pro's design in virtually all areas. Because according to Richard Ledbetter of Digital Foundry, Scorpio will hit its native 4K target across a range of content, with power to spare and to spend on other visual improvements. Phil Spencer said that the target for Xbox Scorpio was to hit native 4K first, and leave the choice to developers whether to use that power for higher resolution, better frame rates, or better visuals. He added that any 900p or better title would be able to easily run at frame rate at 4K on the Scorpio. And there is something truly unique about the Scorpio CPU. They have customized, optimized, and redesigned it so much that we can't even call it a Jaguar anymore. The communication from the game to the GPU is super efficient. The 2.3 GHz CPU brings doubt that Scorpio can deliver 60 FPS gaming even at 1080p. Although games like Call of Duty World War II are rumored to run 4K 60 based on precedence, that Call of Duty games always run at 60 FPS, and the Scorpio's baseline is native 4K. No one should expect 4K 60 on open world titles or even most games across the board, but Microsoft has appropriately addressed bottlenecking with the CPU. Processing draw calls, effectively telling the graphics hardware what to draw, is one of the most important tasks the CPU carries out. It can suck up a lot of processor resources, a pipeline that traditionally takes thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of CPU instructions, according to Digital Foundry. With Scorpio's hardware offload, any draw call can be executed with just 11 instructions and just 9 for a state change. Anti-Xbox gamers and PC gamers alike would assume the CPU will be the weak link to the Scorpio chain. But remember that the team designed the hardware around the software, looking at games and what they need and building a machine to fit suitably in that need. Project Cars 2 developer said, Scorpio has enough power in principle to deliver 4K 60. He also credits UWP PC Development for making it so easy to create a high-quality game onto the Scorpio and the PC. He also stated that Xbox Scorpio won't be limited by the constraints of the PS4 Pro. Here is an analogy to understand why a developer won't shortchange a game on both platforms because one is less capable. I'm a graphic designer, and if I was asked to create a poster for two clients, and one said that they couldn't have the poster at full size or on the nice, expensive paper, and the other client said, make it full size and put it on that nice, semi-gloss paper, I would never make two of the same poster for my clients, just to save time and money. When you spend years developing a game, realizing your vision as a designer and a creator, you want the best representation of your product out there, and that is where Scorpio comes in. Other upgrades include faster load times, and titles will have an impressive 60% bump to overall memory with more processing power for everything outside of gaming. There's still so much to learn about the Scorpio this Sunday at E3. This was my last effort to talk about the Scorpio before we hear everything. Stay tuned on this channel, and at this point, you probably should subscribe. Watch for me on Friday, June 9th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Mooch's channel for Crossfire Podcast. Even though I desperately try not to look like an Xbox fanboy, it is truly an honor to be featured on this podcast. We'll be talking about pre-E3 news and predictions. I'll see you there. This is Colt Eastwood. Thank you for checking in, and if you haven't, add me on Twitter, add me on Mixer and Xbox Live. Great things are coming, and there's a lot to be excited about. All right, that's it.